Hi, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for watching and for subscribing. And if you're just visiting, please consider subscribing. Today, I'm going to share with you my most complimented scents. If you watched me for a while, you might remember that I have done this type of video before. That was quite a while ago. And of course, things have changed since then. You know, my collection has changed and grown. I'm wearing new and different scents, and the ones that are most complimented have changed as well. In general, I mentioned in that other video, and I'm going to mention here again, for me personally, compliments are not important. Honestly, at all, they're not important. In fact, sometimes I feel kind of awkward when people give me compliments. I wear fragrances for myself, for my own enjoyment. You know, if I love the way I smell, that's really all that counts. You know, if I get a compliment, okay. If I don't, I don't. That doesn't determine what fragrance I choose on a daily basis. But there are definitely some in my collection that get more compliments than others. And here I've chosen 10 most complimented. First one on my list comes from the house of Xerjoff, and it is K'Bridge Club. This is a really interesting situation because this fragrance is very, very similar to Montal Intense Cafe, to Deluxe from Tiziana Terenzi, you know, and a few others that we have by now that have similar scent profile. I'm not even going to go into notes, you know, I don't remember exactly what they are, but essentially it smells like Intense Cafe or Deluxe, you know, rose, coffee, vanilla. There is a, you know, probably kind of a small difference here. I feel like there is a bit more rose, just a touch more rose in the other ones. And it is just a little bit kind of smoother and creamier. But essentially, to my nose, they're basically the same. Here's what's interesting. I don't have Intense Cafe, but I do have Deluxe. And like I said, a few others with a similar scent profile. This one, for some reason, out of all of them, gets more compliments than the other ones. I don't know why. You know, to my nose, like I said, they all smell very similar. But I guess to people around me, they do see a difference. You know, when I wear Deluxe, when I used to wear Deluxe, let's say, I don't think I've ever gotten a compliment. You know, whereas this one, almost every time that I wear it, I get a compliment. So I guess people around me, maybe in the sillage, they see a difference in it. I'm not sure, but the point is this one gets more compliments for sure. And so we kind of have this division at home now. I tend to grab K'Bridge Club, whereas Deluxe has sort of become my husband's scent. And by the way, the scents that I have chosen here are all different, not the same ones that I did in the first video. You know, many of those that I had in the first video, I still get compliments on, but like I said, there are definitely other ones, and I wanted to include a completely new list. And so the second one on this list is from the house of Maison Lancome, and it is Roses Berberanza. You know, this fragrance gets a lot of attention and a lot of questions. Very often the reaction is very complimentary, but sometimes I also get a very negative reaction on this one. It's, in my experience, kind of a love it or hate it type of scent. In general, of course, it's a very, very sweet, deep, jammy kind of rose. What makes it different is an addition of pistachios, you know, where at the beginning you really get a blast of pistachios, which is what very often people don't like. And then, you know, pistachios, well, they're always there, but they kind of mellow down, and that, you know, sweet, jammy, and even boozy rose comes to the front. But I think it's the note of pistachios that some people don't like and some people equally love. So this one gets probably more reaction than any other scent on this list, and more than any other scent in general in my collection. Very, very often it's complimentary reaction, but sometimes I have gotten a negative reaction to this one as well. Next one that I wanted to include is an oldie in my collection. Something that used to be my signature scent back in the day. And when it was a signature scent back then, I got compliments on it almost every time that I wore it. Everybody loved this scent. I got so many compliments. Now, I don't wear this scent as much now because, you know, my collection has grown so much. But when I do, it's almost guaranteed that I'm going to get at least one compliment when I wear it. What am I talking about? This is Chanel Chance au Tendre, the pink one. I mean, I've spoken about it several times, you know, this is not my first bottle. I've gone through many bottles of this, and I've had this one for a long time now. You know, like I said, I don't wear it all that much, but when I do, this is pretty much a guaranteed compliment. So the fragrance is, you know, fruity, floral, musky. So the main note, I think, is quince here. There are also some other fruits and citruses. There are definitely a number of florals in here. Musk, of course, perhaps cedar as well. And, you know, it's easygoing, kind of unassuming, mass appealing type of scent that everybody seems to love. You know, it's a very familiar and not very unique scent profile at this point, but it's really lovely and it's really, like I said, mass appealing. So yeah, whenever I do wear this one, it's pretty much a guaranteed compliment. Next one is the one that typically men compliment me on. And you know, I don't think it's surprising because this is a very sweet fragrance, and I think men tend to love sweet fragrances. I am talking about Princess from Kilian. This is a marshmallow scent. Very sweet, very fluffy kind of marshmallow scent. There's also a note of tea in here, I believe, which, you know, I don't really get, to be honest. There's also ginger in here, which, you know, gives it a bit of freshness and a bit of that, you know, kind of spiciness. I do feel ginger in here, and I think that is what kind of saves this fragrance because it is extremely sweet. But, you know, ginger brings a bit of freshness to it and makes it not be cloying and, you know, kind of overpowering. So in general, though, it's marshmallow, sweet, fluffy marshmallow. Very cozy scent, very warm scent, you know, very appealing. And like I said, on this one, I usually get compliments from men. Next one was a really huge surprise to me as far as compliments go. It's a new scent that I just shared with you in a haul. And, you know, if you watch that haul, I mentioned that to me, you know, the fragrance seemed kind of average, like kind of nothing special. Pleasant, but nothing special. However, it gets compliments. It gets, again, it's one of those that I get compliments pretty much every time that I wear it. It's a little bit puzzling to me, to be honest. This is Si Fiori from Armani. You know, when I was testing it, I wore it 2 or 3 times, and then after I filmed that haul, I wore it another day as well. And this is shocking part. I got compliments every single time that I wore it, you know? I don't know. I'm puzzled. I don't know why it is so loved by others. I don't really get why it is so appealing to everyone. Because like I said, to me, the scent is really nice. It's definitely not offensive. It's a really nice, lovely scent. But, you know, nothing extraordinary, nothing super special, and yet others love it. So there you go. So what is this scent about? Well, of course, this is about blackcurrant mostly, you know, just like all of the Armani Si fragrances. There's also a lot of vanilla because it's quite sweet, much sweeter than all the other Si fragrances. It feels almost, again, like fluffy and kind of pillowy. In a way, even romantic, I would say. There are also other florals in here. There is patchouli, I think, in here, but overall, it's sweet, fluffy blackcurrant. That's how I would describe it. Again, to me, you know, it's kind of a bit run-of-the-mill fragrance. You know, I don't want to offend anyone who loves it. It's nice, but in my opinion, it is run-of-the-mill. But this is an absolute compliment getter. Absolute compliment getter. Like I said, I've worn it like, what, 3 or 4 times now, like full day wear, I mean, where I was, you know, around people, and every single time I got at least one compliment, and most of the times it was multiple. Next fragrance that gets me a lot of compliments is another one from the house of Xerjoff, and it is Starlight. This was a blind buy for me. You know, I never had a chance to sample it. Didn't really know what to think about it. It was kind of, you know, one of those risky blind buys. It was either I was going to love it or I was going to hate it, because it was always described by others as extremely spicy fragrance, like a fragrance that has a lot of cardamom in it. And it is true. It has a lot of cardamom, especially in the opening. But what I love is that there is such a prominent note of bergamot, you know, and it's not like it usually is, you know, citrusy notes, especially in the opening, they appear and disappear quite quickly. Bergamot in here stays for quite a long time, really long time. I feel it for at least a couple hours, maybe even more. And I think it makes such a great combination, this really, really spicy, and of course sweet. There's a lot of sweetness in this fragrance as well. So that kind of spicy sweet together with this fresh, bright bergamot that really works in this scent, you know. And by the time bergamot kind of disappears after a couple of hours, you know, by this time you're completely kind of encapsulated by this fragrance, you know, you're addicted to it by this point. You're used to this strong sweetness and spiciness, and it is absolutely addictive. I can't remember what other notes are in here. Like I said, obviously there is, you know, vanilla, there's cardamom, there is bergamot. There might be other spices in here, very possible. There is cinnamon in here as well. But really, overall, it's sweet, spicy, and really bright and fresh at the same time, at least for the first few hours. And, you know, I fell in love with this scent, and it looks like others really enjoy it as well. Again, this is a scent that gets me a lot of compliments. Next, I have a scent that, again, gets me a ton of questions. A ton of questions, you know. It could be a compliment. It could be people asking me, oh, what are you wearing? What is this? I need to know. But this scent always gets some kind of attention. And it is Lamar from Kajal. Yeah, people are always very, very curious about it. So this scent, you know, I've spoken about it many times. It's one of my favorites, especially for the summer. It's amazing. To me, it's completely intoxicating. It is, of course, about pineapple. There are also quite a lot of spices in here. There is also, if I remember correctly, there is a green apple, I think, which brings a bit of sourness to it and works really, really nicely with this sweet, juicy pineapple. In the beginning, it really feels like you have this juicy pineapple, like the actual fruit of pineapple. When it settles down and develops on the skin, it becomes syrupy. For me, it becomes extremely syrupy and thick and dense and kind of gooey even, you know, and it really feels like some kind of pineapple syrup that you would pour on top of some kind of pastry, you know. That's how it feels. What's interesting is that I heard a number of people say that this has some kind of relation, some kind of small vibe in a direction of Baccarat Rouge, especially in a dry down. For me personally, I don't get that at all. You know, if I didn't read it, I would never connect these two scents. But when my husband smelled it for the first few times, without knowing, you know, what others have said, because I do the research, he doesn't know anything about it, he said that as well. He said that, you know, he gets in a dry down, he gets something similar to Baccarat Rouge, some kind of distant vibes of Baccarat Rouge. So, you know, perhaps I think, you know, because Baccarat Rouge is very popular. It's, you know, everyone wears it. It seems like everyone seems to love it, or majority of people seem to love it. And maybe this one really does have some kind of vibes of Baccarat Rouge. That's why people always ask about it and are always curious. So this one gets a ton of questions when I wear it. What is it? Let me know. I want to know. Give me the name, you know, etc. And often these comments turn to compliments as well. So that's why I've included Lamar from Kajal. Next, I have an old-time favorite that also gets a lot of compliments. That is Sunshine from Amouage. This is a lovely, lovely scent, you know. The only one really that I can wear from Amouage. Although, no, let me correct that. I really, really like material from Amouage as well. Haven't purchased the full bottle yet, but that one I also really, really enjoy. So there are only two, let's say, from Amouage that I can wear, and this one is definitely one of them. And it seems like others enjoy it as well. I very often get compliments on this one as well. This one, to me, you know, as with most Amouage fragrances, it has a lot of notes, but who cares about a lot of notes, you know? To me, this scent is really about osmanthus. Osmanthus that smells like apricots. Like, to me, it's some kind of apricot jam. You know, sometimes, depending on weather conditions, this could be a really sweet apricot jam, and sometimes it's kind of more on the tart side, not very sweet apricot jam. This scent, for me, really changes depending on the weather. So, you know, the sweetness level changes on weather. What it smells like? No, not really, you know. This is, like I said, apricots with a bit of tobacco smoke, and it's white tobacco here, so it's really kind of a gentle type of tobacco, not like you know, cigarettes or cigars or sitting in a bar where everyone is smoking. No, this is really, really gentle type of tobacco. And how strong the tobacco is also depends on the weather. So in general, for me, this is dependent on weather, you know, how strong the sweetness is and how strong the tobacco note is. But for me, you know, I love it in either way, in both weather conditions, cold or warm. I love it. This is a beautiful scent with beautiful performance, and I can totally understand why people around me also enjoy it. Okay, we're left with two more. Next one on the list is Perdizione from Nobile 1942. Again, this scent has a lot of notes, some of which I don't smell in here at all. Like, I remember, for example, that there is a note of lavender in here, which I don't know where it is. I don't get it at all. Don't remember the other notes, but essentially, this is a scent that smells like Kilian Love. You know, you have that sweet, marshmallowy, fluffy, really sweet kind of scent, you know. I have quite a few fragrances in my collection at the moment with a similar scent profile, but I would say this one out of all of them is probably the closest in how it smells to Kilian Love. You know, quite a while back, I did a video on Oriana from Parfums de Marly, and also talked about other scents in the same scent profile. And there in that video, I remember also mentioning that this one is probably the closest dupe or similar fragrance to Kilian Love. And my opinion has not changed. You know, it really smells like sweet, marshmallowy orange blossom. Did I mention orange blossom? I think I forgot the main note in here, but of course it is marshmallow or really sweet vanilla with orange blossom. And again, this is a fragrance that doesn't surprise me, that gets me compliments, you know, because I think Kilian Love is very, very popular these days, very loved fragrance, very mass appealing. And so because this one smells so similar, I'm kind of not surprised that I get compliments on this one. And here, I really equally get compliments from men and women. So Perdizione is great. It also, in my opinion, has better performance than Kilian Love. And of course, it is cheaper. I mean, not cheap in general, but if you're comparing Kilian and this one, it is cheaper. So might be a great alternative for someone that's looking for a scent profile that's similar to Kilian Love. And the last fragrance on this list comes from Carolina Herrera from her Confidentials line, and this is Burning Rose. Out of all the Carolina Herrera fragrances from this Confidentials line, this one by far gets me more compliments than any other. What's in here? Well, as always, I don't think the notes listed on Fragrantica for this line are accurate. It only states 4 notes: rose, cinnamon, ginger, and patchouli. I really believe that it's more complicated than that. It really smells more complicated than these 4 notes. Of course, it is about rose, for sure. There is patchouli in here, there is cinnamon, ginger. I can see all of these notes, but I really feel like there is more than that. The rose, to me, in the opening is kind of very fizzy, sparkling rose. Not heavy at all. There's always a bit of a cinnamon in here, definitely a touch of patchouli. And I have to say, this line from Carolina Herrera, I feel like all of them share this note of patchouli, which is the most elegant, beautiful patchouli note, kind of the most reserved patchouli note that I think many would like. You know, even those who don't like this note could enjoy it in this line of Carolina Herrera. I find that majority of the fragrances, well, okay, at least the ones that I have tried, share this kind of patchouli base. So it is a little bit here, but it's not very strong at all. When the scent dries down, you know, that fizzy rose is always here, but I almost feel like I'm getting really expensive, really smooth leather. Not heavy at all. Very light, but it's like there is this undertone of leather, which typically, you know, I wouldn't like, but for some reason in here, it works. It makes the scent kind of more seductive, more sexy, I think. I think it really adds to this fragrance. It really does. So this one definitely gets me more compliments than any other from this Carolina Herrera line. That's why I decided to include it here. So there you go. This was the last fragrance on this list. Again, I will say it again because some people don't believe in that, but for me, compliments are not important in general. They're not. Anyways, let me know what fragrances in your collection get you the most compliments. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please remember to give me a thumbs up and subscribe, and I will see you soon in the next video. Bye.